Hello YouTubers, this is Miss Susan, your Piano Fun at Home teacher. I wanted to keep you up to date on some of the fun and the successes that I have had, and some of the techniques that I'm using to teach Amy, who is my autistic student, that I can teach her how to play the piano, and to announce that when I have developed these techniques and used them on other students, that lo and behold that they work very well. And so I wanted to talk to you about another one. Well, before I go to bed at night, very often I will pray for inspiration, because I want to teach these kids, I want to teach these ASD students how to do music. I know from the experience of my grandson that not all school activities are appropriate for autistic students. My grandson was put on a special needs soccer team last year. And so all of the students were kind of in the same boat. You know, they all had the things that they had to cope with, and they were not appropriate for a regular school team. So they're running down the field, and one of the students, one of the kids on the opposing team, took the ball away from my grandson. Hey, it's soccer. That's what you do in soccer. Well, my grandson went ballistic, and you know what I'm talking about. He started kicking and screaming and fighting, and the adults had to run out there to break up the scene. And so we know, you know, and we know that for autistic kids, their choices are limited. And what is it that would be appropriate for them? Well, piano is perfect, really, because it is at the same time an individual it's an individual skill. You know, you take your piano lessons, you practice your piano lessons. But it's also a social experience, because once you learn how to play Happy Birthday, then you can play Happy Birthday at home. You know, I mean, everybody, mom has a birthday, dad has a birthday, and all these people have birthdays, brothers and sisters. And perhaps in school, perhaps in the classroom situation, that they will acknowledge birthdays too, and that gives an autistic student an opportunity to shine, because, as you know, everyone loves a musician. So I wanted to share with you one of the things that has worked very well with Amy and with my other special needs students as well. Now, very often before I go to bed at night, I pray for inspiration, because I want to be able to reach these kids. What can I offer them? How can I bring joy to their lives and bring their childhood experience as normal as can be expected under the circumstances? Well, I pray for inspiration, and then I get up in the morning and try any idea that pops into my head. And here's one that came in the night. I call it the music conversation. So the way this works is, I'm sitting there next to my student, I'm sitting there next to my piano student, and I play 3 or 4 notes, da-dee-dee-dee-dum, and I say, okay, now you play, and just to see what the student does. Actually, I keep it very simple. I may go to the one note and go, bum, 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 now you play, and see what the student does. And the student, the first time I did this, Amy just played anything she wanted to, any place on the piano. There was absolutely no connection. So I did this for 3 or 4 give and takes, and then we went on to something else. Well, the next week she came back for a lesson, and I again attempted to start a musical conversation, and I played ba-da-dum, and she goes bang, 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 and so I play something else, and she plays something else, and I play something else. Well, about the 3rd time I did this, she started to mimic me. She started to copy me. If I play bum, 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 then she would play on her note, bum, 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 and there was a connection. I thought that was wonderful. When I tried the music conversations on my normal, I hate to use the word normal, but my typical students, your average school student, usually within about 2 give and takes, you've established a conversation. The teacher does one thing, the student does another thing. I start out by mimicking the student, and then after I'm copying the student, then I will set off and do something new to see whether or not the student will copy me. And with your average school student, it would take about 2 or 3 exchanges. That would be about 45 seconds before then you're in lockstep, and I would say having a music conversation. And it's kind of fun to do that. Sometimes I let the student lead and I will mimic, or sometimes you answer back, which almost but not quite the same thing, and then that just leads to creativity and it turns into a wonderful game. Well, this is great, but will it work with the autistic? And the answer is yes. After about the 3rd week, when I did this, and Amy and I were communicating together through the music, and it was wonderful. And I have to say that was a turning point in our lessons. After that, she was more in tune with what I was trying to teach her, and she was more able to make the connection. So you know how it is when we're dealing with the students. We take our successes where we find them, and we celebrate each tiny step of advancement, and that was a wonderful day. If you'd like to read about this, I have it written up in my blog. Visit me at www.pianoforspecialneeds.com. And you can see the piano method that I have developed working with Amy and my other special needs students. And read all about it and add your comments, and together we can discover ways to reach our precious children. Thank you for listening. This is Miss Susan, your Piano Fun at Home teacher, saying bye-bye.